Welcome back to Jason's Pen Journey. Today is a milestone date for me. Today is the 1 year mark of my pen journey. So it's November 28th, 2025. And a year ago today was Thanksgiving. Today's Friday, the day after Thanksgiving here in the US. But back on November 28th, 2024, I was at Thanksgiving dinner at my parents' house with my wife. And I said to my father, do you have a fountain pen that I could borrow or have and try it out? Because it was something that I've talked about this in a video previously. It's something that was really important to him, and my brother got really into it, and the two of them kind of converged around the hobby. If you remember my video with my brother Mark recently, he tells a story about kind of getting into it and talking it over with my father, and then my wife got into it as well, and I felt a little left out, so I asked for a pen, and that's what got me started on this hobby. My dad gave me the Nemesine Knox Play-Doh, which I've shown before on the channel, but just to show you one more time. This is the Nemesine Knox Play-Doh in gunmetal chrome with a stub nib that I got from my dad on, again, 1 year ago today. He inked it up with Iroshizuku Asagao for me, and so that's the thing that got me started. Um, I took a photo on November 29th, 2024, using the fountain pen for the first time when I got home, and it said, "Oh no, I got a fountain pen from Dad. First, the sickness came from my father, then it came from my brother, and then his family, and then it came from my wife, and now for me." So that was the photo I took and sent it out to uh, my brother and my dad and my wife, and that's kind of where it got started. By November 30th, so 2 days later, I opened up my journal for the first time in over 2 years and started writing again using that fountain pen. And I wrote, "Hello, it's been a while. I'm trying out a new, to me, fountain pen that Dad gave me over Thanksgiving. I asked him to give me a starter pen to see if I would catch the bug like my father, my brother, and my wife. So far, I need to practice more. The top strokes of my handwriting aren't catching the ink properly, and I think I would prefer a pen with a finer point." So, not surprising that I didn't want to stick with a stub for very long. That wasn't really my style, and that was written in block print. When I look back over those first few days of restarting my journaling habit, um, on December 1st, I was using a different fountain pen that April provided me. April's my wife. I don't remember what pen it was exactly. I think it was a Jin Hao that she loaned to me, but I didn't write down at the time which one it was, so I can't tell you that. Um, and then by the end of the journal entry, I said, "The downside of this fountain pen is that I'm clutching it too hard and making my hand hurt." And then I switched back to the Nemesine and said, "Whereas this is more of a smooth glide." Um, by December 4th, I was trying another pen from my wife. I wrote down, "April gave me another pen to try, but it clearly sucks." I don't know which one that was, unfortunately. And then I switched back to the Nemesine again. December 5th, I was trying out another one of the Jin Haos that she had. And I was still preferring the Nemesine, even though the stub didn't really jibe with my writing. And by December 6th, I was practicing a little cursive writing today for the first time in decades, I think. It's going to take much more practice, and still true. And that was actually using a Lamy 2000 that I got from my wife. This black Lamy 2000, the Macleron. She actually had it with a medium nib, which I've since swapped out for a fine nib. And this was, with the medium nib. much more my style. I really used this a lot for the first, couple of months of being in the hobby, and it was kind of it very quickly became my favorite pen. Um, and only later did I swap out to a fine nib because that was going to be more my style. And of course, since I swapped it, I barely used it because I wound up acquiring so many other pens. So, um, yeah. Um, I was looking back over other things in my kind of email history and my pen journey. So on December 7th, I ordered my first fountain pens for myself. It was a Lamy Safari in white and a Lamy Safari Vista, which is the clear plastic one. I also ordered some Lamy cartridges along with that, as well as some bottles of Oroshizuku ink. On December 9th, I made my first Jet Pens order. It was a starter kit and a sampler pack of their cheap fountain pens. It was Platinum Preppies and a few other of that range, the $2 to $3, $4 range pens. Um, for Christmas that year, my wife gave me this Joya Matisse Seaweed over Atlantis, which is an absolutely beautiful pen. You can see how much that's catching the sparkles. So this was kind of the first higher end pen that I had that was all mine. Nobody else had used it. It was a gift, but it was the first one that was all mine. Um, Within soon after the new year, I was ordering my first Pilot Metropolitans. I would show you the Lamy Safaris that I had, but I've actually gifted those and over to my other brother Alex, as well as the other Pilot Metropolitan that I had at the time. So those are no longer in my collection. I also the kind of the first higher end pens that I ordered for myself. There was a Pelican M205 in Star Ruby Special Edition, which I would show you, but I actually just today sent it in the mail to my niece for her birthday. So she'll be getting that when she early next week. So I would show you that one, but it's out of my possession now. But I also got my first Sailor pen, which was the Sailor Pro Gear. So this was my first kind of gold nib that I bought for myself. Um, and so that's kind of where I started. Um, on January 10th, which was actually my birthday, so save that date coming up soon. You can buy me stuff, I guess, or just wish me a happy birthday when that rolls around. That was actually the day that Mark got me an invite into the Pen Addict Slack channel, Slack workspace, which has been a real joy to be a part of over the last almost a year. It's a community that's been really welcoming, and I've learned a lot from everybody there, and I've had a ton of fun. And it's one of the first places I go when I get online every day, and it's just a joy to be part of that. On February 16th, I joined my first San Francisco Bay Area Pen Posse meetup with my dad. He took me along. So I had to meet a lot of the pen people in person for the first time. So that's also been, kind of my local pen club, a community that's also been extremely welcoming. I've gone to a number of those events, been a ton of fun. Um, on July 22nd, I did my first penabling of giving a pen to someone else. A coworker, I gave him one of my Lamy All Stars while he was visiting from out of town. We were in a meeting, and he saw me writing with fountain pens, and I said, "Here, you can have one." And I gave him the Lamy All Star in denim was the color. So that one has since gone back to Europe, and hopefully he's using it and enjoying it. Um, the first pen that I got for myself secondhand was this Diplomat Viper in blue. I bought this off somebody in the Pen Addict Slack, who was my first purchase, not my last. My first pen that I bought secondhand from somebody in person at the Pen Posse was the Lamy 2000 in stainless steel, which was with a fine nib and is basically, always inked up and never too far from being used on a daily basis. Um, So what else? August 29th was my first pen show. You saw me do a 4-part series on the San Francisco Pen Show that we did back in August 29th, uh, 29th, 30th, 31st, I think was the dates. So you saw all the purchases I made, how much fun I had with that experience, and looking forward to repeating that next year. And who knows, maybe doing some other pen shows along the way in 2026. What else? October 24th was the Pelican Hubs that I went to in San Francisco. Um, so that was a ton of fun. There's a lot of the folks from the Pen Posse, so people I already knew. I ran into a coworker who I didn't know was into pens, so made a new uh, somebody I already knew, but kind of made a new pen friend at work. And then November 15th, most recently, I did my first trip to Atlas Stationers in Chicago while I was on a flight layover. So more to come on that soon. I've got a video that I want to do about the purchases I made. But to give you a sneak peek, the big one that I did was the Delta DV original oversize. So this ginormous pen. To give you a comparison, here it is with the Pilot Metropolitan, so you can see just the size difference. Or here's with the Lamy 2000, just so much so much bigger. So really having some fun with this one. It's kind of my last big purchase, I think, for a while. And then it's not technically the last pen that I bought. I also got not a fountain pen, but a dip pen that a friend brought back from Japan for me. This is a Drillog dip pen, which is just awesome. If you get a chance to play with one of these, they are a ton of fun to use. So I got that. And then I have one more pen that I've ordered that hasn't arrived yet. So when that arrives, I'll share out the details on that one because it's a really cool one with a good story. But yeah, that's what I've been purchasing recently. Um, what else? So the size of my pen collection has gotten pretty out of control. I've had to buy a bunch more pen trays. I actually use a style from Galen Leather out of Turkey that I really like. They are really nice pen trays, and then I also have an Alfie from Stationery Stack that I use that I keep on my desk. I also gone completely crazy with inks. I also have used the Galen ink storage boxes for those. I've got a bunch of those and paper. I've got more paper than I know what to do with, more than I'm able to write with. So at some point, these things all get used, but thankfully paper doesn't go bad, pens don't go bad. Ink could, but so long as you keep it out of the sun, it should be okay for a while. But that's kind of where I've been going. I've actually one of the things that's interesting as I kind of hit the 1 year mark here is most of the past year has been about discovery. It's trying new things, seeing what I like, seeing what I don't like, leaning into what I do like, and getting more variety of the same things that I already like. But I've been trying a lot of different makers, both kind of large scale and very small scale, indies versus kind of more factory made larger batches. I've got, I've shared this in a previous video. The pens that I bought have come from all over the world. A lot of the makers here in the U.S. I've purchased from, kind of the ones that you hear a lot about. Um, Italian, German, Japanese, Korean recently, Indian, Taiwanese, Chinese. So I've been buying pens from all over the place, and kind of learning what I like, and in a conversation I had, it's like, what do you like the most? And it's like there is no one thing that I like the most because what I reach for on a given day changes based on my mood and what I'm trying to um, accomplish. Am I just taking a quick note? I might reach for something, whatever's within reach. Am I looking for something? I'm going to be doing a longer writing session. Then I want something that I know is going to be more comfortable for a longer writing session. Those that changes and changes how I feel on a given day. I showed you the Delta TV, that the oversized one. That's because some days that's I need a bigger something that's larger, that feels more comfortable. Some days I'm good with something that's more slender. Um, it depends on how my wrist is feeling, my fingers are feeling, my elbow, my shoulder, um, how just my whole body is feeling, and that changes day to day, minute to minute. Um, what am I writing? Am I writing for myself? Am I writing so that somebody else can see it? It's usually not so somebody else can see it. I'm usually writing for myself, but sometimes I'm writing, a letter to somebody or a postcard. So I want to make sure it's something with a more expressive ink. So I'm trying a lot of different things. Um, so, but what's really interesting is as I've been discovering over the past year, um, I feel like I've hit a bit of a wall. Um, the brick wall behind me. Um, I feel like I've been hit a bit of a wall. I went through Fountain Pen Day earlier this month where I couldn't think of anything I wanted to buy. Um, Today's Black Friday in the U.S. I guess not just in the U.S., but everybody's got the Black Friday sales going on, and you're getting all these emails with sales and great deals, and nothing is speaking to me right now. There's a lot of things I could buy, but I don't feel like I have to. I feel like I've kind of saturated my collection a bit. There are other things I want to buy. The Delta is something that I had my eye on for a while. I don't know that I would have bought it if I hadn't been able to see it in person and try it with a fortuitous trip to Atlas. Um, but I've got some other, kind of higher end things on my wish list. Again, my birthday's coming up. If anybody wants to spend a lot of money buying me, really fancy pens, there are some things I want at this point, but not things I'm going to buy on an impulse because it's significantly more expensive. Um, I do, still have the impulses sometimes to buy something. There's one I purchased last night that again I haven't gotten my hands on yet. But something that I had seen and was really custom, and it was kind of a, not one of a kind, but basically one of a kind, and it spoke to me. So I said I'll buy it. But a lot of things are just not speaking to me right at the moment. I was there was a Leonardo Stilo and Style exclusive that just dropped today, or sorry, yesterday. That I looked at and I said that's nice, and I don't want it, even though I love the Leonardo pens. It's probably the thing that I have the most of in my collection. But it just didn't feel like that was something that I needed anymore. Um, yeah, I'm at that point where I feel like I've done my discovery, and I starting to land on what I have is what I like. And I'm sure, when I look back at this video in a week, I'll have changed my mind, and something will have spoken to me, and jumped into my shopping cart, and credit card purchase will have gone through. But who knows? Maybe I have kind of slowed down, and maybe that'll stick. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with my pen journey right now. Is I've got a lot to play with. I've got a lot to explore. I've done a lot of exploring, and I've got a lot more to learn. Um, there's a lot of things in my collection that have not gotten enough use because I was accumulating so many things so fast. So they need to spend some time getting in the spotlight. Um, and as I, kind of enter year two, my sophomore year in the pen journey, um, I'm excited to do more on this channel. I'm excited to talk to more people. I'm hoping I can line up some people to hop on the channel with me, like I did with my brother, and talk to them about their pen journeys. So, again, if you are one of those people that is interested in sharing your story and talking with me about it on camera, please reach out. Um, there's definitely, smaller makers that I want to spend more time playing with the pens that I've got from them and maybe talking with them a bit more about their stories. Not about their pen journey necessarily, but their maker journey. And I need to get back to doing more writing, not just handwriting, but writing about my writing. That's one of the things I was starting to do when I decided to kind of pivot to video a little bit back in the earlier in the fall. Um, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm excited about what 2026 is going to bring for me from a pen perspective and life in general. Um, and still a lot of time left, still a month left in here in 2025. So, um, it's premature to call it over, but um, I'm I'm really happy that I went on this pen journey over the past year. It's meant a lot to me. Like I said, I connected with a lot of people that I never would have met otherwise, both here locally as well as around the world. Um, I've tried new things that I never would have thought were something I would be interested in. Discovered a lot of things about myself. Um, and slowed down on a lot of things, and that was really a big part of what what helped me gravitate towards the hobby is um, slowing down, being more thoughtful and more considered, more appreciative, expressing gratitude, and finding beauty in things that I maybe hadn't noticed before. So it's been um, it's been a great first year. Thank you for coming along the journey with me for the first year, um, and I hope you'll stick around for year two. Um, Please, as always, comments, questions in the comments. Um, would love to get your feedback on anything. Um, Give a like to the video, subscribe to the channel. There's more coming, and until I speak with you again, keep on writing.